Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant, undisputed, lands on Showtime, not Fox. We're going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys throw a like on the video. It goes a long way when you guys do that. Let's talk about it. Now, this tweet is from ESPN. Mike Coppinger says, sources, Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant, November 6th, will be a Showtime pay-per-view. The vast majority of PBC's major pay-per-views have been aired and carried by Fox recently. PBC deal with Fox expires at the end of the year, though Fox holds a network option for a fourth year, right? So, surprising to some that Canelo Alvarez and Plant is going to be on Showtime instead of Fox Premier Boxing Champions. Me, I don't care. I just want to see the fight. I don't care. They're both Premier Boxing Champions networks, and it's a great fight, undisputed. I like Caleb Plant, like Canelo Alvarez, so I'm going to order it no matter if Nickelodeon had the pay-per-view. What are people saying? Big mistake trying to go head on with UFC 268. Canelo Plant is an unappealing fight as it is. Okay, so that just sounds stupid because I haven't heard any boxing fan that said the fight was unappealing. Notice when the fight is with Premier Boxing Champions, which is a black advisor, Al Heyman, people go out of their way to slight it and to slight PBC. But when Canelo's fighting Yildirim and Canelo's fighting Kovalev, that went head to head with UFC. You didn't see as many comments of this. You know, Canelo versus Kovalev, that fight on DAZN had to take a back seat, and they waited for Jorge Masvidal, and they waited for the delay of their broadcast to allow for the outcome of the Nate Diaz versus Masvidal fight, which was horrific for their broadcast because people were growing restless in the venue and stuff like that. So it said, I'm not even reading the rest. It says it's way worse than expected, blah, blah, blah. So obviously this Joe, he don't know what he's talking about, because at the end of the day, the Canelo fight was announced with Caleb Plant before the UFC 268 fight. So how's it a big mistake? They at the time they scheduled the fight, UFC hadn't even announced that fight. So that's that. Just people hating, usual stuff. Right? What else? Anything else? This is a major for Showtime and could indicate what lies ahead for the PBC Fox relationship. Canelo Alvarez is the biggest star in boxing. I don't even know if that's true at this point, but whatever. And this is for undisputed super middleweight title. Caleb Plant has never fought on Showtime. Yeah, but the thing is, if Caleb Plant never fought on Showtime, Canelo has. Canelo versus Lara, and that could be why it's ending up on Showtime. I don't know. I don't work for Premier Boxing Champions, so I don't know. I don't know why or how, nor do I really care. You know, I think people tend to make big deals. Like, who cares if Caleb Plant has fought on Showtime? Canelo has fought on Showtime because I remember his fight with Erislandy Lara was on Showtime, right? And then he ended up, when Golden Boy left and split and all that with Richard Schaefer, he ended up staying loyal to Oscar De La Hoya only to regret it. So maybe that's why, because Canelo has experience with Steven Espinoza and Showtime, and Canelo's a loyal dude. So despite Caleb Plant, whether he's fought on Showtime or not, Canelo has fought on Showtime, and he's the A side in the equation. Needless to say, like I said, I don't care who has the fight. I'm ordering the fight. I'll be covering the fight extensively on the channel. I don't see this as a problem. And if you're a boxing fan and you're going to order the fight, are you going to now not order it because of Showtime or because of UFC? You know, boxing fans at the heart of it don't care about those things. And I think that's weird from the ESPN reporter that he would surmise that this could be an indication or indignation of what happens with PBC and Fox, because Showtime got this one fight and Fox has got all these other fights. I don't really think that stipulates anything, and I think that's far too premature to even suggest that we know what's going to happen and if Fox is going to re-up with premier boxing champs at this point because Showtime got this one fight. Because at the end of the day, Fox got, it was supposed to be Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. I want to, it's up to my promoter. So they got that fight, right? Then it turned out to be Pacquiao Ugas. They got Wilder Fury, right? And they got a ton of like Pacquiao Thurman, things like that. So they got a ton of colossal fights from premier boxing champions. So maybe Al Heyman or PBC is like, yo, we gotta show some love to Showtime, because they've had some good fights, like the Mayweather Logan Paul. That was a fight where it probably made some money. They had Gervonta and Charlo, but this will probably be maybe the one that does the biggest pay-per-view buys. I don't know. We have to wait and see. But I know I'm ordering this. I think this is a great fight. So I don't know. I think it's far too premature to speculate that we know what's going to happen when the contract expires with PBC and Fox, and if they're going to re-up based on this move. Because Pacquiao fought Broner on Showtime. I went to that fight. He fought Broner on Showtime. So, and then he fought for the remaining fights of his career. Pacquiao fought, I want to, it's up to my, he's going to bite me. He fought the remaining fights on Fox, PBC. So I think, I don't know, again, I don't work for PBC, so I don't know exactly how they ration out the fights, but we've seen guys bounce back. Charlo's, they're a great example. I just gave you Pacquiao. I don't know how many examples I need to give you, but I'm great at my job. Charlo's, another example. They fought the doubleheader on Showtime with Derevyanchenko and Jason Rosario. And then for the next fight for Montiel, that was on Showtime. But then the Castano fight, I believe, I don't know, was that one on, that might have been on Showtime too. But the Charlo brothers christened the Fox. They were the very first PBC when the deal was first done. They were on Fox, because I went to that fight. It was the Tony Harrison fight, and it was Tony Harrison. It was another doubleheader. So one doubleheader with Tony Harrison, the first fight, and then it turned out to be Jamal Charlo versus late sub Matt Korbov, because Willie Monroe failed a drug test. That doubleheader was on Fox. That was the opening Fox fight. But then later on, the doubleheader with both Charlos on the same card was a Showtime pay-per-view with Derevyanchenko and Jason Rosario, as I just mentioned. So I don't know. I don't know how it, the brilliance is having the ability and flexibility to put your guys where you want them on two different networks. Nobody else really has that flexibility, like two cable networks, Fox and Showtime. Showtime owned by parent company CBS. No one else has that. Some people might have like, oh, we work with Sky Sports and DAZN, a streaming app, or we have an app and then we have a network like ESPN. But PBC is the only ones that I know of in boxing that currently have two major cable networks, and they can, again, sift through what fights and ration different fights to different networks. So that's a hell of an advantage. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I don't really think this means anything. It didn't matter if Fox got the fight or Showtime. I was still ordering the fight. Let me know what you guys think. Use my link in the description to get TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is an awesome browser extension to help you make money on this platform and level up your content. And I'm out.